everyone, thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to show you our cool technique of how to make your own botanical prints using real leaves. Now this is a technique that I am casing from Debbie Henderson, who I saw her video on YouTube and I thought it was brilliant. So I went outside and picked up some leaves in the front of my yard and decided to give it a try. And these are the few cards that I made. I have some other prints that I've done that I have not turned into cards yet. I will show you those. These cards were made with leaves that actually were pretty brilliant in color. They're Canadian maple leaves, and they had bright orange and red in them, but maybe they were a little too dry when I ran them through the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, because the brilliance of the colors didn't come through. I got a lot of yellows and greens, but I think they're still so pretty, and you get all of the veins in the leaf. This is the real thing. So one of the things that I learned from Debbie's video, and that I actually learned on my own as well as I ran some of these through the machine, is the leaves have to be a little bit, still have to have some moisture in them. They shouldn't be like fresh leaves that you pull off that are really still have a lot of moisture in them, and I'll show you what happened. In this case, I ran some small leaves from my spirea bush that had really brilliant reds and purples in them, but they were fresh leaves and had a lot of moisture in them, and so as you can see, the moisture just kind of leached out and doesn't look very nice. Now this one looks kind of pretty. I could probably cut that out and use it, but as you can see, this just made kind of a big old mess. So that a fresh leaf with a lot of moisture in it is not a great idea. Also on the other side of the spectrum, a leaf that is dried up, like I pulled an oak leaf off the ground. I haven't given this one a try, but it's starting to curl, and I'm almost wondering whether or not this is going to do anything. If it's too dry, then none of the moisture is going to come through. So I'm going to give this one a try at some point and see what happens. So let me, all right, so these are the cards. I'm going to go through the process with one leaf that I picked up today, and as you can see, it has a lot of color to it. Still has some greens around the edges. It has some vivid red in the veins, and it has some orange and even a little bit of yellow. And this is from my maple tree, Canadian maple tree in the front of my house. We'll see how much of the colors come through. It could just be, again, the greens. We'll see. So let me move these aside, and I'll show you the paper that I used was the watercolor paper, the Fluid 100 watercolor paper, because that way the color from the leaves will absorb into this paper. So I'm going to just take one piece out, and this is 5x7 paper, so it's smaller than the traditional paper that we use for our card making. All right, so you're going to have along the 5-inch side, and this is obviously the 7-inch side. So along the 5-inch side, you're going to cut it at 4 3/4, and you're just going to cut a little slice off the side. Then on the 7-inch side, you're going to cut it directly in half at 3 1/2, and that's going to give you 2 card layers. So now you'll be able to make 2 cards out of it. All right, that's the only thing we're going to use our trimmer for. All right, so now And I'm going to move one of my pieces off to the side. And then what we'll do when we start doing the sandwich on the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which I'm going to actually bring in. I don't normally do that, but in this case, I think you need to see what the sandwich is supposed to be. Let's see if we can do this. All right. Okay. Let's see if I can do this in a way that you can actually see it. Okay. All right. So it's going to be a little bit of a different sandwich, but it starts out the same. It's going to be a 1. Now we're going to put the 2 in, but you're going to need a little bit of a shim. Now, you can put it in under here, and that's fine. But one of the things that I've discovered is that my well-worn top plates have so many indentations from embossing, or die cutting rather, that when I run my watercolor paper through it with the plates on top of it, the watercolor paper actually picks up some of the images. So you can see, in this case, I have a leaf image that was die cut. Well, it ended up on the paper on one of my run-throughs. So I have cut a piece of, this is the backing for your designer series paper. I just cut a piece of 5x7. You're going to need a shim anyway, just to give it a piece of cardboard is going to be too thick. But this paper is just enough. So what I'm going to do, instead of putting it underneath the number 2 plate, I'm going to put it over the image. Now what's going to happen is, this is a shiny side, but this is a matte side. Some of the color is going to end up on the back. You'll see how it works. All right, so I'm putting number 1, then I'm putting number 2. Then I'm going to put plate number 3. I'm going to put the watercolor paper. Now you can, doesn't matter which way you have it, whichever way you want to have your card, because you could certainly even make the card go in that direction. I'm just going to do it like that. All right, now you can put it this way, you can put it that way. All right, now this is where I'm going to put my shim. You know what, I am going to turn it that way. And turn it that way. And then I'm going to put my shim on top of it so it doesn't pick up all the designs. And then I'm going to put this second plate number 3. And then I'm going to roll it through 2 times in both directions. Now I know you're not going to be able to see the whole thing, but you see what I'm doing. And it really was how the sandwich comes together that I wanted you to see. Not so much me rolling it back and forth. Okay. Now this is going to be as much of a surprise about what the result is as it is for you. So let's see what we end up with. Take that off. All right. Here's the leaf. This is the shim. A lot of the color came off on the back side, just like I said it would. And here's the actual botanical. But for some reason, I got a little, not sure why. But now here's the leaf again. It still has some color in it. I haven't tried running these through a second time. But what I do want to show you, so this, I can still use this because I don't care that it has a little white line through it. I can put a ribbon across it. I can put, you know, the washi tape that we have in the holiday catalog. Actually, I kind of like that. And I think I may end up doing it right now. I'm going to just put a piece of washi tape right across the middle. There's my design. This is definitely crafting on the fly, isn't it? When you have a little boo-boo, you just kind of figure out what you want to do next, right? So no one would ever know that it had a little imperfection going across the top or right across the middle. Now let me show you. Here were some other ones that I did this morning. Now this one, the color did transfer. I mean, there's no saying how something is going to transfer. I can't guarantee which colors are going to transfer, but I was pretty happy. And this is another one. Oh, I really, really like that one. It has so much detail. All right, so one of the things that we're going to do right now is we're going to make the cards. I'm going to move that over there, and ooh, what did I have? Oh yeah. So based on the colors of the leaves, let's see, what did I want to, I think, oh, here's one. This is another one. This had kind of mostly like yellows and browns. Now I was doing these cards with, I'll bring some of them back, the Blackberry Bliss cardstock, and I just put the paper directly on the Blackberry Bliss and ran some linen twine around it and then put a sentiment label. Now this one I did on, I took the card and put it on Old Olive, and I kind of mounted it sort of over to the side, and then, is this Blackberry Bliss too? I don't know. Might be. Yeah, this is Blackberry Bliss. And then I put the washi tape on this one, and then I did a sentiment label, and then I just used some soft sea foam, that Stamp and Blend all around the edges of the sentiment label, and then put some of those metallic, the brush metallic adhesive back dots onto it. Then, so this one I did was the, I think it was Cherry Cobbler, but again with Old Olive. So Old Olive and any of the burgundy colors in the spectrum that we have, whether it's Cherry Cobbler, Merry Merlot, Blackberry Bliss, even Rich Razzleberry, I think they all blend really well with the Old Olive color. So, all right, but this one, this brown, kind of brown and yellow one, I thought would look really nice if it was mounted on some So Saffron, and then on early espresso cardstock. So I'm going to, let's see, do I want to wrap the linen thread around? Now see, I have this ribbon. Maybe this would be a nicer one, right? To wrap it around and make it into a rather than the twine. I have so many of them that have twine. I'm looking for something different. All right, I'm going to go ahead and tack down this onto the So Saffron. Now, some of the other ones I popped up on those foam, what do you call them? The foam adhesive sheets, so it pops the whole thing up. And then I tied the twine 3 times or 4 times around this piece rather than the matte piece. But I think in this case, I might wrap it around the So Saffron. Well, we'll see how it looks. Get that off. I just think that this is like such a cool technique of being able to go out and pick something out of nature and then make your own botanical print. I mean, if you live in a part of the country like I do, where leaves turn colors, when we were kids, we would go outside and then pick the leaves up and press them into a journal or a scrapbook or something and keep them, because the colors are so vivid and it's just a fun thing to do for the fall. That, along with piling the leaves up and jumping in them. Now the other color you can use for a ribbon is the early espresso. I guess that's kind of an okay one, right? Versus, I don't know. I'm not sure. This one is a little bit darker and stands out more and would blend with so it kind of goes with that, right? Well, maybe I'll do that one. I may hate it afterwards, but oh well. I'll give it a go anyway. So I'm just going to tie it around and do a little ribbon. You know, let me do it the other way. And then I'll do some sort of a sentiment label. And when you're tying a ribbon, after you do the first tie, take the tail on the bottom and then wrap the top piece around it. And then you'll get your bow going in the right direction. Okay. All right. Turn that off. Okay. Oh, it looks nice already. All right, I'm going to go ahead and tack it down onto the early espresso card base. Oops, making a mess. Okay, now let me grab a piece of, this is my scrap bucket of every scrap piece of basic white that I've ever trimmed off, and I throw it in this container and I end up with 8 million pieces of scrap. So let's see what I want to do for a sentiment. I mean, we have so many great stamp sets, but let's see. I could do peace, because, you know, these botanical prints seem kind of peaceful. I could do beyond grateful, since it is, you know, we're in the month of Thanksgiving. I might do that. Let's see, where is it? Beyond grateful. Okay, and I'm going to use some soft suede. Now I would use early espresso, but I'm doing a workshop tomorrow and I already packed the early espresso into my crate that I'm taking with me, and I don't feel like going over and digging it out. Okay. Let's see. Oh, you know what I could just do? Not get my big head in the way. That's what I could do. I think it might fit right on the card. With any luck. Ugh, no. Naturally, I messed that up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is restamp it. And I think the reason is that it might have bumped up against that. That's okay. I have another idea. I'm just going to cut out the sentiment label and cover it over, which I'm sure you guys have probably done yourselves. All right, let me bring in my paper trimmer. I can use my scissors, but sometimes it goes wonky and sideways. There's an uneven cut, so. Oops. All right, we bring this back, and then I'm going to pop this up on some dimensionals. Unless you drop ink on it and really make a giant mess, everything is fixable. Let's keep that in mind. I don't give up until the thing is completely, like if it turns out that it's a huge mess. Otherwise, I'm looking for a fix. So this is how I'm going to just do it. No one will be any the wiser. Cool, right? And so I have a few different gem dots. I have the brush metallic adhesive dots, and these come in gold and the rose gold and then brass. And then these are similar. These are the rustic metallic. So these are kind of like the brassy looking ones. And then the Stampin' Up! Also has these champagne dots. If you wanted to do a little bling bling, which actually I might want to do just for something different. Yeah, my scissors. All right, well, I'm just going to do that. Oh, yeah, okay, I'm just going to do that. You know what I didn't do, but that's okay. Wait a minute, let me just put these on. I'm getting distracted. All right, I'm going to do that. And then I want to show you something that I did, and you can try it on one of your cards. I'm going to put one on the sentiment label. And put one right up here. There we go. I'm not going to do the inside just yet. I'll wait and do the inside. Kind of cool, right? I mean, for a real leaf, not so bad. I like it. And I like the fact that I did the So Saffron. Okay, so let me show you what I was, what I did with one of, let's see, I did it with two of the others. Yeah, so what I did is these have, I don't know if you can see it, splatters, ink splatters. So what I did is I took one of my Stampin' Blends, and before I, after I had the leaf stamped, before I did anything else, and I just took the Stampin' Blend, and then I tapped it on the side of an acrylic block, and you do it over your craft paper, obviously, because you're going to get some spray. You just tap it, and obviously I have the cover on. This is just, I'm just showing the technique, and you'll get some paint splatters on it, and you just put as much or as little as you want. And then in addition, you can also use your Wink of Stella if you want some shimmer. Just spray that around as well. So I did that with, I didn't do the Wink of Stella on this one, but I did use the, I used Old Olive on that. And then I did it a little bit, you might not be able to see it, I did it a little bit on this one as well. Just a little bit different technique. And this one, as I said, I used the green washi tape. And on this one, I used the linen thread. And I used the So Grateful sentiment from Fond of Autumn for that. Okay, now I have that one. And I did have my one that I did, oh, the washi tape one, which is here. I'll have to think about this one. I'll play around with this one. But this, I'm going to use some Merry Merlot is the cardstock I'm using for this. And again, I'm using Old Olive. And I think I might make it go that way. Okay. Now, you can put it off to the side, you can put it up to the top to show more of the cardstock. Now the layer, these, as I said, are measuring 4 3/4 by 3 inches. The layer is your standard 5 1/4 by 4, and then the card base is your standard 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 and scored at 4 1/4. All right, so now I want to use, all right, so this is the Old Olive ribbon from the combo pack of Old Olive and Sahara Sand. So this one that I showed you is the Sahara Sand part of the combo. And this is the Old Olive that comes with it. So you get 2 in a pack. And I have used a ton of this Old Olive. Now I'm thinking, I don't think I have enough. Well, you know what I can do? I can, you know, instead of doing a bow, I think what I'm going to do is do it in a knot. So if you're not huge about doing bows, you're not good at it or you don't like it, you just do a knot. And that kind of has the same, well, not the same, but similar outcome. Oop, hold on, I'm making a mess. Okay, just do that. Not as easy as it looks, or as it sounds, rather, I should say. Okay. There we go. Now, a lot of times what I do when I'm making a bow or a knot is I put a glue dot under it to hold it in place, which acts sort of like a finger. But again, I've packed it in the tote that I'm taking with me to my workshop tomorrow. So I don't really feel like going over there and digging it out of the bottom. All right, so that's that. And then I'm gonna mount it onto some Merry Merlot. Doesn't that look nice? I think it looks so pretty. I think the sentiment I'm going to put on this one, I'm going to do is I'm going to use from Charming Sentiments. I'm going to put Faith Over Fear. There might be people in your life or that you are a friend of a friend that is going through a difficult time and that might be ill. that might be struggling with some issues, and you could send them a card with faith over fear, showing them that they have strength in them, and that strength can help them get through their difficult time. All right, so, oh, I already have it out, don't I? Now, I take this one off and put the new one on. What is faith over fear? And I'm going to go ahead and use the soft suede again, because I'd have to get up and go in the other room and get the old olive, and I don't really feel like doing that. Okay. Oh, you know what? That's not a big enough piece of scrap. So let's see. What do I have in here? I'll just use that piece. That's big enough. I'll cut it down. Okay. Now I'm going to bring in my keeper trimmer and cut one side. You know what? I may flag this one. I wonder how that would be. You know what? I might put it on, I might back it with some old olive. Let me just mount it. Oh no, wait, you know what I'm gonna do first? I am going to flag it. So cut down the middle as best you can from the end, from the end to the middle, from the other end to the middle. That looks stupid. Looks kind of big though, doesn't it? Covers up a lot of the, yeah, I'm not liking it. Not liking it. I like the sentiment. I think the sentiment is great. All right, I'm not going with that one because it's too big. I'll use it for a different card. So, instead, how does Just For You let's see. So if we did Just For You, it's smaller sentiment. Get that ink off the side. Oh, God, of course. Try that again. There we go. Close up the ink. I think this is small enough that I can just use my scissors. And then I'm going to mount it onto some old olive. With a frame around it. trimmer. Let's see how this one looks. And we can just mount it right over the ribbon. Okay. Okay. I hope you're gonna give this a try. Go outside and see what leaves you have. You might have some really colorful leaves. If you have some that are small, you can just put a whole bunch on the on your paper. Okay. There you go. I like that. And let me mount it. Back rub. And there you have it. So let's see, what do we want to put on it? We'll put, oh, I know. We're going to put the rose gold gem dots because it kind of matches that. I'll put a big one down here. Put some of the smaller ones, which I only have 2 smaller ones left anyway. And there we have it. Real leaves made into botanical cards. I'll bring in some of my other ones. Here's another one I made the other day, along with this one that I made with washi tape. And also this one made with linen twine and the So Grateful sentiment from, oh, and this hello one is also from the Fond of Autumn stamp set. And then the one that we just made today, that's made with the Early Espresso and So Saffron. So I hope you enjoyed these. Give it a try. Go out and get your leaves and have some fun. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye. See you next time.